Are you wondering how to get your wife in the romantic mood? What can you do to increase her libido? How can you show up differently in your relationship so she desires more intimacy? In this episode, I'm going to cover 8 steps that can be taken that can answer these questions. I'm couples therapist Dr. Wyatt. I've been in private practice since 2004 and I've helped over 1,000 couples restore their relationship. For my free training on how to rebuild your marriage in 90 days, comment the word training below and I'll send it to you. And I'll also include the link to it in the description. So in this episode, I'm talking to husbands with how they can get their wives in the romantic mood. However, this advice goes both directions because I've worked with a lot of couples where the wife is the low libido partner. I've worked with other couples where the husband is the low libido partner. So if you're listening to this, apply the advice to the low libido versus the high libido partner, regardless of gender. So the first step to helping your wife get in the romantic mood is you have to clear the resentments. She is not going to want to be intimate with you if she has resentments toward you. So you should go home tonight and say, honey, do you have resentments toward me? If she says yes, that is the first step. You have to work through those resentments. You have to carve out time to address those resentments properly and thoroughly so that she does not have resentments toward you any longer, because resentments create walls. If there's resentments there, it's going to be a block. She is not going to get into a romantic mood with you if she has resentments toward you. Number 2, you have to increase your quality time with her. She wants to spend time with you. She wants to talk with you. She wants to hang out with you. She wants to do life together. She wants to have dates with you. How much are you providing quality time? When you were dating, you had a lot of quality time. And so if you're not having regular quality time with her, she's probably not going to get in the romantic mood toward you because she's going to feel disconnected. She's not going to feel like partners. So ask your wife this week, how well am I providing quality time for us? How should I improve? If you had a magic wand, what changes would you love to see in our quality time together? And let her tell you how much more quality time she would like to see and what type of quality time she would like to see. She needs that quality time in place before she's going to be open to intimacy. Number 3, you have to nurture emotional intimacy. The majority of women need to feel emotionally close and connected, regardless of their libido level, before they're open to intimacy. She's not going to get in the romantic mood unless she feels emotionally close first. So the way you nurture that is you carve out regular undivided attention where you share about your days. This is the head heart check tool that I teach on, where you each take turns sharing your highs and lows from the day. You respond with empathy to one another. No advice unless your partner asks you for advice. This is essential to nurture the friendship, to really get to know each other again, to understand what makes each other tick. If your wife is like most women, she craves it, and she's not going to be able to get into the romantic mood unless she has it. So emotional intimacy becomes a top priority. Number 4, you have to provide regular affection and cuddling with your wife without any expectations of it turning erotic. A lot of husbands only touch when they want it to go further, and then their wife picks up on that, and then they resent their husband's touch and may even avoid his touch. So you need to learn how to give your wife more affection, non-sexual touching. Think about every time you're within 3 feet of her, touch her. It can be little touches on the shoulder, on the back, on the knee, on the hand, in her hair. Any kind of touches can be helpful. And ask her, what kind of touch do you like? How can I increase affection? Am I giving you enough affection? Let her tell you what she's looking for and then provide it, because she's not going to be open to intimacy with you unless she's having regular affection with you first, because that helps her feel close on a physical level. In addition, initiate cuddling with her on a regular basis. Most women love to cuddle, but they're worried if they cuddle with you, you're going to want it to go further. You're going to have to remember, if you cuddle, do not make any hints, no gestures, nothing indicating that you want it to go further. It has to be benign. It has to have no ulterior motives. And when you provide more cuddling without ulterior motives, that's going to help your wife feel more connected with you, and that's going to help her get into a romantic mood with you more often. Okay, these next 4 recommendations are for your wife, because you can't do it all. You can do your best by trying to help her get in the romantic mood, and you do need to do your part. However, she also has her part to play. She also has some steps she can take that can improve things. And again, these recommendations are for the low libido partner, regardless of your gender, because it's very common if you're low libido to think, I really don't want to be intimate. I'm just not in the mood. And so how do I get in the mood if I'm not in the mood? That's the question. Those first four things we just covered can help you get into an emotional space where you're open to getting in the mood, but there's still more work to be done. And these next 4 points will show you how. And remember, being open to getting in the mood is often a choice. Just like you make choices every day, you probably choose to go to the gym, even if you don't really want to go to the gym. But once you're there, the endorphins start rushing, you're starting to enjoy the workout, and then afterwards, you're glad you went. You feel better because you went. Intimacy is like that. If you're low libido, often it's a decision. Am I open to being intimate? And the way you answer that question usually is based on how close do I feel with my partner. But remember, it's a decision. You're low libido. You're not going to just naturally want to have intimacy. It's very rare. But just think about all the other decisions you make in your life, knowing that once you make that decision, you're going to be thankful that you did. Another good example is eating healthy. You may not want to eat healthy initially. You may want to eat the candy bar instead of the spinach salad, but you choose the spinach salad. You make a decision. And then you eat it. You start enjoying that spinach salad. It tastes really good. And then afterwards, you're thankful you did it because you feel good about it. You feel good about that decision. If you're low libido, intimacy is often like that. It's a choice. It's a decision because you don't have the testosterone in your system raging for intimacy. Therefore, it's often a cognitive decision, just like you make other decisions in your life. So number 5 is you have to buy into the value of intimacy. If you're low libido, you may think, what's the big deal? Why does my partner want intimacy all the time? Why do they want me to get into the romantic mood? I could take it or leave it. If that's you, you have to buy into the value of intimacy. It's not just for your partner's needs. It's not just for your needs. It's for the relationship. Because when you have intimacy, you're going to feel more bonded, more connected emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And if you're struggling buying into the value of intimacy, do some research. Go online and start researching the top reasons why intimacy is important in relationships. You need to fill your brain with all of the evidence, all of the reasons why intimacy is crucial for a long-term healthy relationship. Number 6 is the crock pot method. What this means is if you want to be intimate tonight, you start prepping your brain in the morning just like a crock pot. You want to eat at 6 o'clock, you don't turn the crock pot on at 5 o'clock. You turn it on in the morning so it can slow cook all day long. Your brain is your biggest organ for intimacy. So you have to intentionally prime your brain throughout the day with erotic thoughts. That might be reading an article on the value of intimacy. It could be thinking about what you want to wear that night that you'd feel comfortable in or romantic in. It might be imagining a passionate scenario you've had in the past with your partner and you replay it in your mind throughout the day. But the crock pot is you prepping your brain on purpose throughout the day, knowing you want to initiate intimacy that night. Now, don't tell your partner you're doing this, because otherwise, if you decide not to do it, they would be disappointed. This is just something you do on your own to get your brain ready so that your body can follow. Number 7 is sensual massage. When was the last time you and your partner gave each other a sensual massage or a body inventory? A body inventory is when you start from the feet and go all the way to your partner's head, and you experiment with different types of touch to see what's going to feel the best to them where. So for example, you start with their feet. You start by firmly rubbing their feet, and then they give you feedback on how well they enjoy that. Then you give them light tickles. Then you give them pinches. Then you give them kisses. And they give you feedback on what they enjoy, what feels best to them. Then you move to their calves, and then their thighs, and then their hips. And then you move all the way up to their head so that you're learning what feels best to them. That's a very sensual thing to do. The other thing is a sensual massage. You dim the lights, you get out the chocolate, maybe some wine, get some coconut oil, and you take turns rubbing each other's shoulders. Take turns rubbing each other's arms. Take turns rubbing each other's backs and each other's legs. You give a sensual massage because that's going to help you as a low libido partner seek into that space. Remember that you're responsive. You are not going to feel arousal until after foreplay begins, not beforehand. So if you initiate sensual time, it may or may not go anywhere, but at least you're putting yourself into a situation where your arousal could start to build. Number 8 is direct erotic stimuli. If you're low libido, sometimes it's hard to jumpstart the engine. Sometimes it's hard to get going, to rev the motor. So one option is reading or listening to an erotic story, an erotic scenario, something that you and your spouse listen to together because you know if you listen to that, it's going to jumpstart your arousal because it's very romantic what you're listening to, and that's going to help you get in the mood. Another example of an erotic stimuli could be doing a role play. Maybe the idea of having intimacy with your partner doesn't jumpstart your arousal, but perhaps doing some kind of role play with your partner sounds arousing. It sounds exciting. And you can decide what that role play is going to be and what you each would feel comfortable with in the role play. Adding in some kind of novel erotic stimuli like that can be very helpful for low libido partners because it jumpstarts their arousal system. So those are 8 ways to get your wife in the romantic mood. Number 1, you have to clear resentments. Number 2, you have to increase quality time. Number 3, you have to improve emotional intimacy. Number 4, you have to provide affection and cuddling with no strings attached. Number 5, she has to buy into the value of intimacy. Number 6, she could practice the crockpot method. Number 7, she could initiate sensual massage or the body inventory. And number 8, direct erotic stimuli. If you're stuck at step 1, you have resentments and you know it, and you can't work through them with your partner, go through my Marriage Intensive. It's my most comprehensive resource to help couples resolve their resentments and rekindle their love. Comment the word below and I'll send you the link. And I'll also include the link to it in the description. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to share it with a friend or a family member to pay it forward. And remember, you're the only thing you can control in your relationship. So work on becoming a better version of yourself to improve your marriage. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you in the next one.